Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well. I want to begin today. I got to tell you, I've been really moved. I'm going to get the words down, but I've been really moved by this week's sponsors. 2 days ago, we had these phenomenal Psalm sisters. I went through the list again, and man, holy people. Today, we got another group called Prayer Warriors. These are Jews and non-Jews that get together to pray. I don't know. I think these ladies are holding up the world. I went through the list again. God bless you. If you're part of this group, you're in good company. And I hope the words that come out of this show is in any way connected to you guys, because whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. I got an email yesterday. I got a couple of emails I want to share with people for those that have been with us for the past few days. We've been talking about this idea of gratitude in a real way. In particular, being grateful for other people, being grateful for the things that we have and what that does to us. And remember, one of the things that we talk about here a lot is our schema, is the limitness of our brain, is our inability to focus on many things. And we really don't have a lot to put into our vision in every second. And if we allow the world to put things into our mind and into our eyes, most likely it will be something that we can consume. Right? Look what we're up against. We're up against human beings versus like carefully curated and created content that's being sent at us to either entertain us or to have us buy something. Like, if you're not going to be proactive in what comes into your eyes, you can be sure stuff's coming in that's either going to have you focus on negative, which is how we're built to survive, have you focus on consumption, which is what people want you to buy, or have you focus on competition, which is how we value each other in this world. And this is all conditioned. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not like pointing to like the system. Just forget that stuff. Let's just be realistic with who we are. You grow up in a world and we're constantly judging ourselves based on other people. What grade did you get? What school did you go into? When did you get this? We grow up in a world and we're being constantly thrown things that we need to consume. We grow up in a world and we're constantly trying to survive by looking at the things that bring us risk and danger. So if you're going to allow the world to just come at you without any proactiveness, we're just going to live our lives this way. But if we go at the world with a proactive approach, we're going to infuse a certain perspective into everything. And the perspective that we're talking about right now, which is the ability to be immersed and to be connected to our eternality, is that of gratitude. To be thankful for the little things, for the people in our lives. Yesterday, we had this conversation about taking on the challenge. And I implore everybody who's listening to this, tonight is the new calendar year. It's a big deal. New Year's. Doesn't have to be the new Jewish year. It's a new year. There's a concept in spirituality, which is that everything follows the beginning. In Hebrew, it's hakol holech achar harosh. You can set something new and it has greater ability to hold on because it was set in the beginning. Habits are hard to break. Well, guess what? It's a new year. I can't think of anything better. Maybe I could, but this is at the top of the list. To start the new year by reaching out to somebody who saw you or who helped you and expressing your gratitude to them. The flood of positivity that comes into your mind when you do that is unbelievable. Yesterday, I got emails from a whole bunch of people. I only wrote down a few, so if I missed you, I'm sorry. from Michael and Ken, and from Ephraim, and from Jill, and from Deb. And I'm sure there are others. I only scrolled this morning of just a few emails of people that reached out yesterday. And the feeling that I got from everybody was, oh my gosh, that was awesome. One of the people reached out to his Hebrew school teacher from when he was 13 years old and caught up with her, from what I understand, on Zoom. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? You know what she must have felt like? Get a call from somebody she taught years later. My gosh. Make people feel good. I remember once hearing this example. I think I said it here. I'm sorry if I did. Imagine as if you woke up tomorrow morning. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow morning and on your front steps is a beautiful box. And you bring it into your house and you open it up and you see a little stand. And on the stand is a credit card. Not bad. So you don't do it that it's a gold card. You take it to the store, you see if it works, swipe, goes through. Take it to the next store, swipe, goes through. Now you're like, let's see how far this, let's see the limit. You get out of the local grocery store and you walk into the local jewelry store. You're like, let's see how this baby can ride. Swipe, goes through. Swipe, goes through. You're like, all right, let's go to the local let's go to the kitchen store. Swipe, new kitchen. Swipe, new house. God sent you a credit card, unlimited. Okay, so you buy stuff. Swipe, new car. After a while, like, how many things can you buy? So what do? You know what you do? You go to your neighbor. You need help? Swipe. You go to the food kitchen. You need help? Swipe. It's unlimited, no? Charity to charity, you wouldn't do it? You wouldn't go charity to charity? Swipe, swipe, swipe. You wouldn't? It's unlimited. It's not your money. It's not going to go away. It's not limited. Fly down to countries, swipe. Well, guess what? God gave us a credit card. It's called our mouth. And as long as our eyes are open, for the most part, it's unlimited. And at the end of the day, people would rather the things you say than the things you give. Of course, people need things, but we all know. We all know. It's not what you give somebody. It's what you say to them. There are a lot of parents that give gifts because they don't feel comfortable saying things. And those kids need to hear stuff. There are teachers that give out free grades and, enhancements to your school card, whatever, report card, days off, no homework. Those kids need to hear what their teachers feel about them. Our mouth. Swipe, our mouth. Swipe. But the question is, if it's free, what are we giving to each other? Pick up the phone and call the people you want to call. Why can't we? What does it cost us to tell somebody how much they meant to us? What does it cost us to tell people how great they are? To see the good in others and say it. What does it cost us? It's a credit card by God. I think when we get to 120, we're going to stand by our creator and God's going to be like, look what you could have done. You're like, well, what do you mean? I wasn't a billionaire. He goes, a billionaire? You think a billionaire can do it? You were a billionaire. You just had it in your mouth. You were a trillionaire in your mouth, and you could have used it to blow up the whole world. You see, we talk about gratitude. There's two levels of gratitude. The level first is to recognize the gratitude. And that's very powerful. But the next level really is to express the gratitude. That's where we are. We are right now in the area we're talking about that we say in Hebrew called Hod. Hod means lehodot. Lehodos means to recognize, but it doesn't mean to recognize just intellectually. It means to expressively recognize. You see, the mind can only focus on a few things. When one speaks, to articulate words, it takes a lot more brain power than to have thoughts, because your brain has to create connections and send it down. There's a lot more that goes on intellectually when you speak than when you think. And so when you're thinking gratitude, that's awesome. When you're speaking gratitude, now you're moving to the next level, because now you're taking all your brain's power and focusing on that which is in front of you, removing the other stuff, blocking out just for a few minutes the competition, consumerism, I'm not enough, the negativity, the past, the future. All that stuff starts to pull away because you're speaking. You have to think about what you're saying. You're not spacing. You're not just listening. And so not only does speaking take your thoughts and put it into the forefront of your mind, building new neuroplasticity, what it does is it actually impacts somebody else. So what you're getting is not only your brain saying, I feel grateful, this is awesome. You're getting somebody else going, oh my gosh, thank you. And now what's happening is you're hitting like the jackpot. You're tapping into an unlimited resource called your mouth, using it to direct your mind to being grateful, and then using it to help somebody else, which will only then create more light that comes back to you. And then you walk away and go, that felt amazing. That felt better than winning. I had this once, like, I was 20 years old. I'll never forget this. I played in a tournament in the summer. Deal, New Jersey, basketball tournaments. For those who know anything about Deal, New Jersey, the summer is like the biggest, best Jewish basketball tournaments. And I played a little basketball growing up. So I used to play in these tournaments. I loved it. And one year we won the championship. It was amazing. The next year we lost in the semis. I was devastated. 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 The only thing that made me feel better was helping somebody else who was devastated feel better. I remember it, sitting with a guy who lost in a worse way than I lost. We lost the game by like 15 points. He lost the game because he missed a shot at the end. Just so much harder. I remember talking to him. That summer I spent in a place called Camp Hask, Hebrew Academy of Special Children. I would drive down, believe it or not, from upstate New York to Deal, New Jersey to play in the tournament. I remember talking to him about being appreciative for the things we have. Now, it doesn't sound like a big deal to people, but it was a big deal when you're 18, 19, you're playing in these tournaments. The only thing that made me feel better, I remember now that we're talking about it, was being able to talk to him about it. Because when you use your mouth to help somebody else out, you walk away and go, wow, that felt different. That felt different. That's how you can live life. That's how we can become big people, expressions of gratitude. If you haven't done it, do it. Today. Start the new year right. You don't got even to call anyone anymore, because like the days of like having an uncomfortable conversation's over. We have WhatsApp. You can leave someone a voice note. You could drop someone an email. What's it going to take? 5 minutes? Find the person, wish them a happy new year. Share with them how special they are to you. Find the thing that they did that you've never said thank you for and say thank you for it. Don't do it once. Do it as many times as you can. Live this way. Let's live this way. This is how great people live. This is how holy people live. This is why we pray every morning for a long time, because when you open your day and you thank God for a lot of stuff, you walk away and you're like, wow. Day starts. When you start your day and you first thing you look is your email, like, gosh, You open your day with gratitude, with recognition. It empowers us. We live a cut above. We fill the pool of our mind with sweet water. So even if we go up against challenge throughout the day, we're going up against challenge with a different equilibrium. Because at the end of the day, all we have is the day in front of us to do the best that we can with it. And if we do the best that we can every day, we don't know what tomorrow brings. Being grateful is not only a great way to empower ourselves, it's a great way to also rebalance ourselves, to remind ourselves that I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know why things happen. Let me find the good and acknowledge the good consistently. So if you haven't done it until now, do it. Trust me and trust people that have done it. It's going to make this year's new year so much more meaningful. And if we make it a habit, can you imagine, just before I move on to this point, because I got an incredible email from Tippy and Andy that I have to read to you before the end of the show. Can you imagine, before we do this, just before we move on, can you imagine if next year, hopefully we'll be in Israel, whatever, hopefully everything will be good. Next year, if we're still together in a year from now, with God's help, right? Can you imagine if next year we were together and we said that every single day of 2021, I found a way to express gratitude to somebody for something. Every day. A kid, a parent, a child, God. Every day out of my lips was a thank you to somebody. Can you imagine what we're going to feel like? Can you just imagine life this way? Imagine life with using our credit card to empower the world around us. I can't. It's too big. Can you imagine? Every day, once a day, 5 minutes a day, voice note, email, each other. You can go through people in your life. Why do we have to wait for like a Shiva call to tell the kid's son, by the way, your dad was really helped me as a counselor? You got to wait for Shiva. Imagine if that guy would have called the guy just wanted to say hello, Happy New Year, Happy Passover, Happy New Year, Jewish New Year. Like there's a million excuses to pick up the phone and drop someone a note. He's got to wait to tell his son how much the dad meant to him. How about telling the dad how much he meant to him? We got to wait for that stuff. We got to wait to walk into someone's house when they're sitting Shiva. Got to wait to walk into someone's house when they're sitting Shiva to say, by the way, your father, your mother meant a lot to me. How about telling the person? Too busy? Can you imagine? I can't. It'll change us. It'll teach us how to swipe the credit card properly. You know what it's going to do for our lives? It's going to change our lives for the better. That's our job. That's our job. All right, tomorrow we're going to read this incredible piece. Tippy and Andy sent me a chapter from the Mariano Rivera book about the postscript of the story I told you yesterday about how he pitched the game. The Diamondbacks gave up the 2 runs at the end. I'm still playing the inning in my head, just for the record. Well, guess what? There's an incredible postscript to the story. And I thank Tippy and Andy for sending it to me, and I'll read it to you tomorrow. But for today, the last day of 2020, a year that will go down in history as one of a kind. Happy New Year to everybody. Even if it's a secular New Year, it's still something that we could take a moment to see and recognize. Don't let New Year's come without committing to more. Tomorrow morning, we'll have the show with God's help. Tomorrow morning is the first day of 2021. Let's start strong. Let's start strong. Let's see that credit card every morning when we wake up. And let's start strong. Let's make this the best year of our lives, regardless of what happens, by just using the gifts that God gave us to help and to build and to empower those around us. Can you think of a better way to use our lives than to empower the world around us? Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Can't wait to read to you what happened at the end of Mariano Rivera's story. So stick with us till tomorrow. Happy New Year to everybody. And commit to this. If you haven't yet, reach out to somebody today. Say thank you. Acknowledge them for something that they are or that they did. And if you did it already, do it again. It's a good practice. All right, everyone, have a great day. And with God's help, I cannot wait to see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.